Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to A Bloop and a Blast, the baseball podcast. My name is Jeremy, aka Big Sexy, and we've got Hughesy there, aka Luke Hughes. How are you, mate?
Good, mate. How you doing?
Good. We've got ourselves a podcast. We've got a name. You and I have been chewing it back and forth for a long time now about, hey, we should do a podcast. And I tell you what, the longest part of it has been trying to work out a name, but we've got it. I'm the Bloop. He's the Blast. It's a Bloop and a Blast podcast. There we go. I've been waiting all week to say that. That's fantastic. Hey, awesome to have you here, mate. And I'm looking forward to talking a bit of baseball with you.
Absolutely, mate. It's been a bit of a time here. We have had a couple of takes at this, but we do have a name, which has been probably the biggest hiccup along the way. But I'm glad to get finally on the air and bring a podcast to Australia.
That's right. Australian baseball. We're going to talk all things Aussies playing baseball, Aussies in the bigs, Aussies overseas, and of course, leading up to the ABL season that's about to kick off here in November. Oh, I tell you what, look, I guess, who are we? Well, Luke Hughes. He's a guy that's played in the big leagues. Played for Australia. You've played for the Perth Heat. Is there anything else that I'm missing, Hughesy?
Just a few teams, mate. Just my local club I spent 30 years at, Morley Eagles, Melbourne Aces, a couple other clubs, Blackburn in there, mate. But I find myself over here in Melbourne and a part of the Essendon Baseball Club. Joined them this year as an assistant coach with Gilesy. So looking forward to spending the summer with those boys and hopefully winning a championship.
Very good, very good. I am the Bloop. I'm just a guy that played a bit of club ball and was fortunate enough to come over and play a bit of club ball with you at the Morley Eagles last season. But yeah, and here we go. Like, I guess it's pretty. We must mention from off the bat that we actually did meet doing a podcast years and years and years ago, a Players Podcast with my mate Miggy G, and then fast forward 3 or 4 years, here we are doing another podcast after. Playing a season together there at Morley, and now you're in Melbourne. I'm here in Perth. It's all happening, but here we go. It's a Bloop and a Blast podcast. This should be a bit of fun.
Absolutely. We're here to have some laughs and talk some baseball and catch up with everything. And hey, look, if you have any ideas of a podcast or what you think we should talk about, don't be afraid to throw it out there to us.
Absolutely. And that's great segue, Hughes. He's well media trained, this bloke, I tell you. It's a good segue because you can hit us up on our socials. There you go. It's just Bloop Blast Podcast because a lot of other names are taken, and that's pretty easy. Bloop Blast Podcast. Check it out on Instagram, Facebook, and even on YouTube. Hit us up. Send us whatever you like, really. Tell us, give us some pointers. Give us a few hints on what you want to hear. Anyone you want us to talk to over the course of this season. And, hey, look, Hughesy, I did say I'm a club ball guy. I know this might not tickle you as much as, say, what's going on in the bigs. But straight off the bat, I have to say it, okay? I've told you I'm a club ball guy. I used to play for the best club in the world. Sorry, Morley Eagles. They're the second best. The best club in the world was Maris Brothers Baseball Club back in Lismore. And I must admit, mate, the boys got up. The boys got the premiership. They got the cup after 4 years of just heartbreak. I won't bore you with it, but I tell you what, it's a good ESPN 30 for 30 doco. If anyone,
you're so dedicated. You flew back to watch the boys play in a championship. So it would have been a long trip home if the boys didn't get up. So how was the beer tasting out of that cup?
Mate, I got to tell you, right? I'll be really quick with this, and I know this isn't what this podcast is about, but the boys deserve it. 2020, they went undefeated in the regular season. 3-game grand final series. We won game 1. We lost games 1 and 2. Lost the big cup, right? 2021, 11-1. We're way out in front. Season gets cut off with COVID. Nightmare. 2022, massive flood wipes out the whole city, whole town. No baseball. 2023, we get to the grand final. We win game 1 again. Lose game 2 and 3. I leave. I come to Perth, and then I find out that the boys are back in the grand final. The next year I fly back and they did it. So congratulations to the guys. The beer tasted pretty good. I have had a sore throat ever since. But hey, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Mate, I think the common denominator there is you. I mean, you've not been on that team. So I think you should leave Morley and give them a chance to win a championship.
Hey, well, I think you and I both know what happened my first state league at bat. I'm staying away from state league. I'm not the reason there, mate.
Should we talk about that? That was my mistake as a coach, thinking that you can play state league.
Yeah, no, hey, I told you straight off the bat. I said, hey, man, I don't want to be anywhere near those guys because they're way too good for me. I'm just a regular club ball guy. That's fine. I can hit a little bit, but not that much.
I think you should be saying thank you for the chance to play state league for Morley.
Oh, wow, that's savage. But true, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. I didn't. It wasn't a great start. I mean, first pitch that I faced in WA, I got hit in the ear, but that's okay. And then I only faced 3 pitches in state league, so that's cool. Whatever, we won't go into that.
It was a quick at bat, wasn't it?
Hey, I mean, look, I'm still going for it, but here we go. I also got the opportunity at Morley just recently to face an ex-big league arm, a guy called Warwick Supholt that I know you would know quite well, but that was also pretty awesome. So there you go. Maybe there's a chance, mate. Maybe there's a chance. Start seeing these guys regularly, and who knows? Maybe I'll be hitting 9 for the Morley Eagles.
I think you might find yourself back down at the single A level. I'm joking.
I think I agree, mate. I'm actually okay with it. I'm all right back down in A grade. I'm cool.
Mate,
with that.
There's 10 bats down there at A grade, mate. You know you love it.
I think about it a lot, to tell you the truth. I think about it more than I should. Anyways, we're getting off topic already, but here we go. Look, let's talk about some of the big league stuff that's happening in the States at the moment. We've got a bunch of guys over there, but straight off the bat, the biggest thing that's probably happened in the last few months would have to be Travis Bazzana going number 1 in the draft. Wow, what a huge thing for there was a guy that commentator. This guy once hit a home run, and the commentator once said, "What a huge thing for him, and what a huge thing for his country." Am I paraphrasing a little bit?
Paraphrasing, but close enough. Close enough.
Bazzana number 1 has to be huge.
It's huge, mate. He's a special talent, and congratulations to Travis. He has had an unbelievable rise, I guess you can say, through hard work and dedication, and playing at the college level and putting himself in a position to be a first rounder, not necessarily a first round pick. And, went down to Cape Cod and won the MVP in that league and came back to college this year. And he just didn't stop hitting. Like, he hasn't stopped hitting. So it's pretty special to see Travis, go first in the draft and go to the Cleveland Guardians. And, I'm really looking forward to watching him, continue to develop and grow, and, really hope one day we get to see him in the national team colours and represent Australia. I know there's a big tournament coming up this year in the Premier 12, and I'm not sure if he's going to be there or not, but, if he is, it's going to be pretty special to see him represent the country.
Yeah, it's got to be pretty. Yeah, that will be sick. I'd love to see him play Prem 12. I think we're not alone. I think everyone wants to really see him. Actually, there was one of the comments that I saw on Facebook or Instagram about the under 23s recently, which we'll talk about in a second. But those guys, someone wrote, "Where's Bazzana? Where's Bazzana?" in the comments. It's like, hey man, he's not there. He's playing somewhere.
Yeah, he's trying to get to the big leagues, mate. A little bit more important, unfortunately, than under 23 national team. But look, we're going to be blessed to watch him play for Cleveland for a very long time. I said to you off air that I think he's going to, play 10 or 15 years in the big leagues. He'll be an all-star, and he'll be that next offensive guy to come through the system and play in the big leagues and play in the big leagues for a very long time. So yeah, as I said, really looking forward to watching him develop over the years to come.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. And of course, a lot of people talk about it, but hey, at the end of the day, my brother here got himself number 1 pick, and he got a mad signing bonus. So good on you, Travis Bazzana. I wish you all the best, my man. I wish you all the best.
Yeah, Taxman's going to love him, I think, next year when they take that money off him. But
he's going
to make a lot of money over the course of his career, and looking forward to watching him, break into the big leagues. Hoping next year for sure. He's had a great initial first couple of months in professional baseball. He had a good hit streak going there, and he's in the playoffs and doing some really good things, and putting baseball on the map in Australia again, just through his presence in professional baseball, going number 1. He was all over the news over here. It was good to see, reading the paper and turning the TV on and seeing different interviews and stuff like that. It's really special to see baseball represented in and through the media.
I remember you telling me a story about your time with the Twins, and you're in the minor league system, and you spent a bit of time there with a guy that happened to get a pretty big signing bonus and a pretty big investment from the organisation. That is, of course, fellow podcaster Trevor Plouffe. Is there and I'm just curious, are they? I don't want to say it, but Are those guys getting a little bit more preferential treatment? Like, obviously they would be a little bit because like the investment's huge, but they've got to have far more eyes on them every single sort of game that they're playing, right? Is it a lot different to what a regular prospect is?
No. When you get those dollars, I guess the cameras are on you, the heat's on you, and to perform, you kind of are expected to. Trevor, came out of high school. I always remember seeing Trev roll in, and we've talked about this and joked about this many a times as we moved through the system together. But I remember the first time he came in, he had one of those kind of like swings, like stopper vibration thing on the bottom of his bats that you used to do. Right, and I always remember this, seeing the draft, and they drafted a shortstop, and I was just pissed because I was playing short at the time, and I was like, "Who's this punk from California that's going to, come in here?" And he rolled in just like true Cali, long hair and all that stuff like that. Too cool for school, and he pulled out this bat, and he had this like vibration stopper thing on the bottom of his bat, and I was just like all over him, like, who's this kid? I think he is, right? And we joked about it for years to come after that, but it was only there just because he liked to have a little bit of a bigger knob on his bat, but I didn't care about that. I was too busy crushing him for it. But look, we went through the system together. He was one of my best mates through my time I spent in the States, and it's really cool to see him stay involved with the game and go down the media path. And he's an amazing analyst. And, I think a lot of people throughout the baseball community and the baseball podcast love listening to him talk and analyse the different games and players and what's happening. So, he's a special bloke, mate, special human being, and very good memories of and a lot of the stories that I probably can't share on the pod through our minor league days. But, he's a special human being.
Maybe do an uncensored for some of those stories. I think there's some cracking stories in there.
There is a few.
Well, let's keep rolling. Let's keep rolling with another little bit of news as far as while we're working up the minors. We talk about another guy, Newborn from South Australia there, I think he was. Was he South Australia?
He's a Perth boy at heart. He grew up in, I was fortunate enough to coach him in the high performance program there for a while. And unfortunately, he suffered a few elbow injuries throughout his time, and was really excited to see the Phillies sign him and giving him opportunity in the end. And he's gone over there and he's pitched really well for the last couple of years. Had a bit of an up and down year this year. He started off well and fell himself into a little bit of a slump, I would say, to his expectations as well. And he's been able to find his way back and just got promoted up into AA a couple of weeks ago, and he's pitching really well. So he's probably my pick to click to, in that pitching area to be the next big leaguer. He's got ridiculous stuff, and he's just developed into such a great pitcher, but he's just a better person off the field as well. So I'm really excited to see where he goes over the next, call it, season or two.
So I really don't have a chance to face him. That's what you're trying to say. Like, I had such a tiny chance, and now I've got nothing. Okay, no, that's cool. Good to know. Keep moving on. This first episode is just Hughesy burying my hopes and dreams of just...
Yeah, just reminding you where you're at, mate.
Hey, I'm the Bloop. You're the Blast. That's what this is all about. That's good. Hey, so let's keep rolling on. Let's talk about another guy that, again, from Adelaide Giants originally, Curtis Mead. He spent some time up and down, with the Rays there. What are we thinking with Curtis Mead? Are we thinking this? I mean, obviously this guy's going to be another guy that's in the big leagues for a long, long time, but. God, just give him a chance. Let him stay up there. Let him stay up.
I guess for me, the frustration, and I know for him, he'll be feeling it this season. He got the opportunity to go to the big leagues last year after, just dominating through the minor leagues, and just another guy that just is a pure hitter. He hasn't stopped hitting. He's used to playing every day, and I think when he's had the opportunity to go to the big leagues, feel the Rays haven't just let him play every day. He's a guy, just go give him 450 at-bats and tell him he's going to play somewhere in the field every single day. And that just, I guess, put the mind at ease, and it makes, I guess, turning up to the ballpark and competing and being at the top level just that little bit more easier. So, he got a bit of a taste again this year. He's out for a while, did some good things, found himself back down in the minor leagues. He's had, another solid year in AAA. I think he's hit, 275, 280 with, in the teens in home runs again. And, he's just a guy I'd just like to see just get that, opportunity on an everyday player. But I think a lot of people forget how young he is. He's only 23. Yeah. You know, he was up in the big leagues at 22. You know, Travis Bazzana just got drafted number 1. He's 22. So we've got 2 phenomenal guys coming through that I feel will anchor the national team for a very long time if we get an opportunity to see him play together. And I know we will. Most likely at the World Baseball Classic will be the place that we might get to see him up the middle together. And, you know, it'd be pretty cool to see those guys play against one another at some stage in the big leagues very soon.
Absolutely. And look, best of luck to him. And I'm a big fan of that. WBC, all that stuff. But yeah, that would be an absolute dream to see that. That'd be sick. Look, another guy that look, pretty promising news out of Boston. Another Aussie guy there, of course, Liam Hendriks. He promising news is that he's doing well. You know, he's throwing a ball. Of course, he's not coming back this season, but that's okay. I don't think, as you've sort of told me before, that it probably wasn't really the plan for him to come back this season. Would you say that?
Yeah, he signed a 2-year deal with the Red Sox, I think, with eyes on 2025 season. And, you know, he's had such a, unbelievable career. The rise through the minor leagues with the Twins, you know, no one touched him. You know, he was pitcher of the year there. He won so many awards and accolades throughout his time in the minor leagues before getting a chance to pitch in the big leagues. And he was young too when he first got up. I was fortunate enough to be there with him at that time. You know, he was a starter at that stage, and he was a completely different pitcher then than he is now. And, you know, there's probably a lot of times along the, you know, his journey that he probably didn't expect to pitch in the big leagues for as long as he has. And, you know, he bounced around, played in a few different organizations, you know, wound up in Oakland. And I think the funny story with him is the fact that he was pitching the big leagues and he got designated, right? So he got designated, taken off the roster, set back down to AAA. And then he literally pitched, I think, a month without giving up a run. Got called back up, and he hasn't, you know, finished. He hasn't just stopped dominating since then, right? So over the last 5 or 6 years, he's been that guy that you just lock down, you know, closer role. Ended up over, obviously, with Chicago for a few years there, made some all-star teams, which is just so special. I think everyone remembers the hot mic time at the all-star game, which, you know, is Liam, right? He's so passionate. He's a hugely competitive person. I think that, you know, it's bred into him by his, you know, his family. He was has a football background. So, you know, to see him out there on the mound in a closing role isn't a surprising thing for me, just with his competitive nature. So, you know, unfortunately, he got struck down, you know, with cancer, and he was fortunate enough to beat it. You know, he got to ring the bell. I know that was pretty special for him and his family to get through that. And, you know, to find himself back out there, you know, throwing again, I think that was just a huge step forward in his just general life, right, to get back on the mound. And unfortunately, you know, had to have Tommy John surgery, but he's worked his way back. And, you know, to see him back on the mound, I know not in a game this year, but, you know, throwing live to hitters a month ago, you know, you could see the smile on his face with the video that they, you know, shared on all the socials and stuff. So really looking forward to seeing him back on the mound next season, you know, with your team, the Red Sox. And, you know, their team, the Red Sox, on a side note, are looking good for next year. I know they're not going to make the playoffs this year, but, you know, looking at their core group of young players, it's a pretty special team and some young pitchers as well to come through. And I'm sure the Red Sox will go out and sign some guys in the offseason too. So be looking forward to seeing Hendo closing out games for the Red Sox next year.
Yeah, man. And look, hey, like you said, baseball, but that's life stuff, man. And he just did a whole bunch of things that are, you know, like at a regular level, like you and I, like regular people, that would just be amazing. But now he's going to get back and compete at the highest level. Like what? That's sensational. So best of luck to him and his family. Congratulations on all of that. I mean, man, also just the fact that he plays for the Red Sox just makes me super happy too. It's like, you know, he's an Aussie. He's playing for the best team. We're laughing. This is awesome. So let's move on to the ABL stuff, mate. There's a fair bit to unpack as we go around the grounds on the ABL season upcoming. I mean, I love asking you about the ABL because you just seem to just have your little, you just know things in there and everywhere. You know who's who in the zoo. I love it. So Hughesy, just straight off the bat, real easy, short, sharp one before we dive into it. Who you got for taking all the bickies this year?
Yeah, okay, really short.
Just easy. I know. I've had this conversation with you, and I
Yeah.
love where you go with it. I'll let you go long form in a minute, but just give me one straight off the bat right now.
All right.
Go.
Look to see Melbourne Aces bounce back and win this year.
They're hungry. They're hungry.
They are hungry. It's hard to say, call Melbourne after, the Adelaide Giants have won back-to-back, and I still think they've got an amazing squad. I just saw it tonight pop up on the socials with, basically I think they've got about 18 guys already locked up for this season, and just really good Australian talent mixed in there without even adding the Phillies guys and their independent guys that they're going to add as well. So it's going to be tough, but when you look at, I feel, the Aces' heart of their lineup, it's pretty special when you look at Aaron Whitefield, Darryl George, my boy, Robbie Glendenning. I've got his name there for a second. My boy. I hope he listens to this. My mind just went blank there for a second. He's going to destroy me for that. And, adding Greg Bird back in there, who had just an unbelievable season last year. You got 4 guys there that are at the top of a Helms Award, polling for sure next season. So, you got to run through those 4 to go along with the rest of the guys and pieces that they're going to add to the puzzle. So that's going to be pretty cool. Special. Yeah.
That was pretty cool last year for me. Like, just again, as we spoke about earlier, how average a baseballer I am. But just to go down to the Perth Heat games. Thanks, mate. Just to go down to the Perth Heat games and see Greg Bird. Do you know what I mean? Like, also, obviously, all the Australian talent. Love going and watching Rickson. Obviously, the Perth guys. I mean, that's all awesome. But like, yeah, you're just like, hey, that's freaking Greg Bird, and he's right here. I mean, that's sensational. So it's like you said, okay. So you're going Melbourne.
I'm going Melbourne, close second, Adelaide Giants. It's hard not to pick them, to be honest with you. I just love what that organisation is all about. They've been able to build, a strong group of Australian talent. They've been able to recruit really well over the last 4 or 5 years. And I think Davo's done a really good job of that, been able to target players and been able to bring in, really good talent and probably better blokes on top of that as well. So they play with such immense passion for one another, and that clubhouse is just fun after a win. And they've been able to win a lot of games over the last few years. And, I know it's tough, but I just feel that, Melbourne set themselves up for this year and they'll be pretty good. Obviously, really, Perth Heat, I wear my heart on my sleeve with those boys, and they've got some really good players there. Obviously got the GOAT Tim Kennelly, anchoring that team down again. Alex Hall, he's won a Helms Award. Bajowski, Wazza's going to be back there again. So look for them to fire things up here soon and start announcing some players as well. Obviously they've had a bit happening within the organisation, and this week they went out and obviously announced Kylie as the head coach again. So, I think it's about his 7th season with the Perth Heat. So I know that they'll be able to put out, a pretty good talented roster. The Rays just send down great players every single year. And, everyone remembers Junior Caminero, and we've seen what he's doing in the big leagues now. And they do send solid talent too. So they're probably my top 3 teams in the ABL to kind of really, sit at the top of the ladder. And then from there, I think, go ahead,
just quickly, sorry, just for the listeners and those watching, Hughes and I did this podcast about a month ago, right? And we've just kept just to practice and all that kind of. Practice for me, obviously. Throw poor Hughes on the bus. But you told me a while ago that Junior Caminero was going to be an absolute stud, and I was just like, oh yeah, sure, righto. And then since then, he's just been popping off, and I've been seeing highlights and stuff of him. So I'm just like, okay, God damn it, here's his right again. Don't tell him, but here you go. Congratulations.
Mate, I was fortunate for that time when he came out to, help out a little bit with the Heat and be around the team at home games. And he took some of the most ridiculous BP I've ever seen in my whole entire life. And he was hitting balls to places that no one has hit in Perth before. And, like the sound of his bat, it's just different. And there's not many guys that have heard that ball come off the bat like that. And back then, I said, man, he was young and he did some stuff, and he's just a young player, right? And he's going to do some stuff in the big leagues that's going to annoy the Rays fans and all that. But when it's all said and done, he's going to be an all-star, and it wouldn't surprise me if he won an MVP one day. So I think he'll move offshore. So he'll probably end up, third base, first base. Is probably his position. He's filling out now. He's growing up. So, no, he's just a special talent. We're fortunate enough to have a guy like that come out to the Australian Baseball League and play, just like Acuna did too, right? So, we're fortunate enough here in the Australian Baseball League to get some really good players come out from these professional clubs and give them an opportunity to play 40 games through their winter too. So, it's good to see those guys continuing to come down.
Yeah. And look, some pretty big news coming out of Brisbane just recently. Only a day or two ago. They've re-signed the big left-hander, Donald Lutz.
Big Lutsy, Big Lutsy. So, I was having a little read up on him, and he's a great guy, right? Like, he's just a good human being.
He looks like a fun guy to be around.
He is, mate. And obviously, I played against him for a few years there, and he's just a happy player, mate. Always having a joke and stuff like that too, mate. So, they've re-signed him. They got Bollinger back again. Sexton had a great year last year. Then McDonald, they've signed him. He's back from college. So they're putting together a pretty good squad. Burns has moved up to Queensland, up to Brisbane as well. They've definitely added some talent. But Wadey's the heart and soul to that club, and I know he's probably going through a bit of a life change. And he's started off in the Fireys as well this year, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. It's worked for TK. TK hasn't slowed down at all, mate. And we might see Wadey in the Fireys calendar one day, just like TK. So we'll see what happens.
Has TK found the fountain of youth? Because we went to and she's going to kill me for this, but I've got to tell you this, bro. We went to the ABL games, and Indy's like, we're watching from, the stands. We don't have Luke Hughes level seats. I'm just a club ball guy, right? I'm the Bloop, remember? And so we're there, and she's like, that guy looks like he has the smoothest face. Like he's got like a hectic skincare routine, he's just got this baby face.
He's got this chiseled jaw. Mate, like these Fireys, my dad was a Fiery station officer for a very long time, 35 years. And funny enough, was TK station officer for a couple of years before my dad retired. And I gave Dad so much hard time over the years. And it's probably I'm jealous that I didn't actually get into the Fireys. But, mate, all they do is work out. They get an hour and a half every morning. They turn up. They get to work out. And TK, mate,
got to be fit to save lives, mate.
All jokes aside, TK takes care of his body better than anyone else. He's healthy. He's lived a healthy life. He became a better hitter post-professional career, and I know that sounds crazy, but it's true. And at his age, I think he's turned 39 this year, 38, 39, and to still be able to go out there and compete at the level that he continues to do, it's pretty special. And I think we're fortunate enough as baseball people to be able to watch that. I've been very fortunate enough to call TK one of my best mates for a very long time, and got to play together with him. We've got a business 1623 together. So it's special to be able to watch him continue to play. And last year, obviously breaking my home run record. I was fortunate enough to be there that night, and took him a few extra games than I was expecting. I thought he would do it in Brisbane, playing in the short porch, just pop one out to right. Did plenty of those over the years. Just a pop up over there, let the wind blow it out, and he didn't. So I was fortunate enough to be able to watch him in Perth do that too. So he owns every ABL record. So it's pretty cool to see. But, kind of digressed away from the Brisbane Bandits a little bit there. But, I think Sydney and Canberra in that rebuilding stage. You got two new managers, Brooke Knight in Sydney. Had him in Perth. He was in Adelaide. Hugely competitive person. We got to spend some special time together with the Heat and won some championships and stuff like that too. And I know he just came short a couple of times against us, the old Heat, when he went over to Adelaide. So I know he's looking forward to kind of putting his stamp on that organisation. The same with Benny in Canberra. Benny was a pitching coach with the Heat for a while, up in Brisbane for a long time, and he's moved down to Canberra to coach them too. So I know that he'll be definitely wanting to put out the best team, and they'll play the underdog card, and he probably knows that too. So it's going to be a fun ABL season, and this is where we start getting a bit excited coming towards the end of September. We're only 6 weeks away from the start of the season, and things are going to heat up here, and we're going to hear a lot more about the ABL.
That's it, man. And look, I know we digressed away from it and everything like that, but I have to say that was so cool watching TK break your record, right? and then you were there and cheering along for your mate. Like that was just, man, I felt very lucky just to be, because we were watching, we'd go to as many games as we could just to try and be there to see TK's home run record, and then to see that, and then it was really, really cool. That was a really special season. So
Absolutely.
Anyway, so I just wanted to cap that off, because for me that was sick. That was so cool. That's the fan stuff that we like. So look, hey, Hughesy's got the aces. It is hard to bet against South Australia, against the Giants, right? Like, how do you not? Like, it's a tough one. Part of me wants to see the Heat take it on. I've got a mate of mine played at Brisbane last year. I would have loved to have seen them do all right, but in the end, the Heat took them out in the in the finals. But I don't know. I'm gonna say the Heat. I'm gonna hope for the Heat. But you're right, it's hard, and especially if Melbourne coming out stacked, I think it's going to be a pretty exciting season.
It is, and I think the one thing with the Giants, if you look at their pitching staff, it's experienced. But I think some of those guys will find themselves unavailable to pitch this year just due to innings and the professional teams most likely shutting them down. So might see them in the second half fire it back up and kind of make that run into the final series. But, it's tough to go past the Giants, the Aces. They're definitely the top two teams for me at this stage, this early door stage that we call preseason.
I was just checking the socials there to see if Van Stensel's back.
He is back. He is back, mate.
Wow. There you go.
Yeah,
I thought he was done. I thought he was done.
No, you would know about it. He would post about it. He would have the retirement go around. No, Todd's been
dusting the shorts off for another season. That's what he's doing.
Don't know if I like the shorts, mate. I would have told him that. I didn't think you would. I'm not a fan of the old pants above the knees. Look, that's something that I just don't think I'll ever be able to warm to. But
I reckon you could try it, Hughesy. Might as well. Give it a crack. Give it a crack, mate.
Imagine that at Essendon, pants above the knees as a coach. I would get a laughing stock of Victorian baseball.
At Luke Hughes on Instagram, guys. Find out if he does it. Well, he's coming back, so that'll be exciting to watch. At least there's a look. I guess I want to say it's polarizing, because I've spoken to some people that are like, "Oh, that guy," but it's fun. Do you know what I mean? Like, makes the game a bit fun. Guys like that. I mean, another good story coming out of Adelaide that I noticed and I heard a little bit about last year was Rickson Wingrove putting. He had his belt, and we were there and we were watching. And I was like, "Look at this guy's belt! It has all drawings and things all over. And I think maybe even his elbow guard as well." And they told us that when the kids come out at the end of the game, they're in Adelaide. They obviously ask you for their autograph and whatever. And so what he was getting the kids to sign his belt and then wearing the belt in game. And I was like, "Oh,
pretty cool."
Oh, man, I love that. That's awesome. So there you go. I don't know. Look, it is hard to bet against the Adelaide Giants, but I'm going to go for Perth Heat coming into this season. And, hey, we're going to have you covered. So, look, Hughesy, thanks so much for episode number 1. We've covered a fair bit. We've spoken about me being the Bloop. You're the Blast. I don't think we've scratched the surface on your playing career and insights and things that we can talk about.
Mate, that would be a short conversation. It would be a short conversation. Didn't go long enough.
Come on, mate. Come on now. But if you guys are interested, make sure you hit us up on the socials at Bloop Blast Podcast. Yep. BLOOP Blast Podcast. Hit us up on the socials. We've also got this on YouTube. So if you want to watch the video format, go for it. Anything else you want to say to the listeners?
No, I'm looking forward to it. Like, obviously, we've got the big league playoffs coming up here shortly in October, just coming to the back end of the season. So we'll be covering off that a lot. My pick at the moment is the San Diego Padres. I think they're getting hot. I like the pieces that they have, and I know they've been, there for a while and stuff like that. But that's the team. That's my Smokey. That's what I'm thinking. But there's a couple of teams just chasing that last little wild card berth. I think we got Kansas City and the Twins pretty close for that final wild card spot, which would be huge news for Kansas City to get through. And obviously D-San's over there with them at the moment, another good friend of mine. And they were able to add quite a few pieces through the off season. So Hoping, well, I can't say that because I was a Twins guy, but looking forward to if Kansas City do get through, watching them play. They're young and they're good, and they've got some really good pitching too. So yeah, pretty special. We've obviously got the Yankees going to be tough coming up against them and Judge, and we haven't even touched on Ohtani and what he's been doing this
That's
week.
a good point. I did leave that alone. My apologies. Ohtani did it. He did the 50-50. He's on to 53 and 50 plus now on stolen bases and home runs. So
I don't think he's got out in the last week. It's
brother's been playing video game stats. That's what's been happening.
And some of the swings he's taken, it's unbelievable. Like he hit a home run, one of the home runs like this week, dead center, fastball up here,
the pitch up,
just nuts. So when he went 50-50, it was kind of like a joke to a few mates and said, "Well, what do you reckon, 60-60?" And funny enough, he's given it a fair shake.
You reckon he's got time?
Nah, I don't think he's got enough time.
He's probably going to run out.
He's probably going to run out there, but Aaron Judge was so far ahead in the home run count, and then all of a sudden now Ohtani's only 1 or 2 behind him. So, like Judge and Bobby Witt Jr. have 2 unbelievable seasons to go along with Shohei. So we've been very fortunate to see 3 of probably the best seasons you will see, but. It's a pretty special time of year for baseball and Major League Baseball fans. And I think once the playoffs kick in, that's where, the big boys step up. And, this is a team that can get on a run, right? Like we've seen it, teams that can just get hot at the right time. And it's pretty tough to come up against some of these clubs with the aces that they have. And I think that's where experience comes into it. Houston are going to play a role in the playoffs. I don't know if the Yankees have got enough depth in their pitching staff to be able to do it. I know they've got some veteran guys there and stuff, but I just don't know if they're playing well enough at this stage to win a World Series. The Dodgers, you can't sleep on them. Obviously, they've just got so many good players play for them. They've had a lot of injuries with their pitching staff this year, but they've been able to add guys along the way. Flaherty's been huge for them. Down the stretch since getting traded too. So, yeah, my pick is San Diego. Close second would be the Dodgers. I'd say maybe Dodgers, San Diego playoff, National League. And over in the American League, I reckon I will see Yankees, Astros, AL pennant. So that's where I'm sitting at the moment, and we'll see what happens over the next few weeks.
I can't get around the Padres. Sorry, mate. There's something about Machado that I've just always disliked.
It's funny you say that. Last week, there was some stuff that came out. Some players were talking about it, and I think Trevor was talking about it on his podcast, funny enough, last week. And he's misunderstood, definitely misunderstood. And I advise everyone to go watch that podcast because he talks very in depth on what people and the players in the clubhouse think of him and how he's well respected amongst the playing group. So maybe I'll send you that clip of that conversation tomorrow, mate. So,
come to think of it, I do remember recently seeing there was something where he was calling out Tatis, and this was like earlier this season. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, that's cool, but I still don't like that guy. But yeah, send me that. That'd be good to see. But yeah, I really hope the Dodgers get up. I just think put all this, like, this is a cool thing for Ohtani. It'd be great to see Ohtani go and just he doesn't have to hit a bunch of home runs in the postseason, but just succeed. I don't want to get to the postseason and then Ohtani be a bust, which I don't think he can be. I honestly don't think it phases the guy. But yeah, I'd love to see the Dodgers win it, especially after the whole 2020 thing where everyone's like, oh, it doesn't count. And they spent all this money. Just let them have that. And then let's just get back to it next year. But yeah, and then next year it'll be the Red Sox in there anyway. So that'll be exciting.
One-eyed Red Sox supporter. Of course you are.
Nah, look, I've got to admit, man, like I've low-key turned into a Dodgers fan secondary. I think I probably just follow people that I think are cool as well.
I do. That's me, mate. That's what I do. I just follow. Yeah. I got certain players I wake up in the morning. Unfortunately, Trout's hurt and haven't been able to do this, but it used to be my first guys just to go check out. And I like what the Mets are doing at the moment too. No one was talking about them, and all of a sudden they find themselves in the playoffs. And I do like to kind of see what they're doing. They're scrapping their way through to get some wins, and will find themselves playing in October, which I didn't think was going to happen, right? But that's kind of cool
Uncle
too.
Stevie.
Without Verlander, without Scherzer. I know they're still paying both of those guys to pitch at a different club, but did you see how much Scherzer was making from other clubs too, by the way, this year?
No.
It's unbelievable. I think
Has he got layover contracts from other places, not just there?
It's unbelievable. Mets are paying him like 15, the Nats are paying him like 15, and then I think he's at Texas, I think he's getting paid another, 20. I reckon he's on about 55 or 60 this year.
That's crazy.
Unfortunately, I haven't been able to see him pitch much because he's been hurt all year, but pretty crazy, right?
That's chaos. That's chaos. Well, look, Hughesy, thanks so much. I appreciate it, mate. Let's wrap it up there. A podcast, episode 1, Bloop A Blast Podcast. Hit us up on our socials at Bloop Blast Podcast. You can search us on Instagram, Facebook, and of course on YouTube. And hey, if you're enjoying this, make sure you hit subscribe on any of those, as well as on Spotify, and you'll be up to date. We're going to try and drop a podcast every week. It's at least going to be one a week, unless Hughesy wants to get a bit creative and take an extra day out of his busy schedule. And but hey, we're going to be here once a week for you guys talking baseball. So. Look, thank you so much, Hughesy. Anything else you want to say to the adoring fans, your fans?
I'm just looking forward to this, mate. We're going to have some fun along the way and have some plenty of laughs and keep it pretty casual too. So I'm sure we'll get better at it too. And along the way, our production will go through the roof once someone sponsors us. Hey, if you want to sponsor us, don't be afraid. Reach out, We're always
if you want us to promote your brands or whatever it is, just let us know. I mean, I will gladly take free merch, and Hughesy can take all the cash. I'm just the club guy, Got to look after the blast.
Can we just get you a new camera so you're not as fuzzy?
Is it real bad? Nah, we'll work on that. Hey, just come on now. I had some solutions. I'm looking at one right now, but I gotta work it out. Look, that's it. We're going. That's it. We're gonna call it there. Thank you so much, guys. We appreciate you. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Going back. This ball's back.